From Sylvie Brett possibly moving to Oregon with Matt Casey, to Mouch bleeding out on a hospital bed in the season 11 finale. These Chicago Fire characters probably won't be back in season 12. Brett's wedding bells could mean that she's on her way out. So, in the season finale, Brett, played by Kara Kilmer, made some major moves in her personal life. She actually adopted a child, and on top of that, she received a marriage proposal from Casey, played by Jesse Spencer. It was definitely an eventful day for her, filled with a whole lot of drama. Unfortunately, the show left us hanging and didn't reveal her answer to the proposal. Classic cliffhanger, right? If we were to speculate, our best guess would be that Brett says yes to Casey's proposal. It just feels like they were always meant to be together. Besides, turning down a marriage proposal can really blow a relationship, and recovering from that can be pretty hard. Plus, both Brett and Casey have entered a new phase of their lives as parents, which brings a sense of maturity and common ground they didn't have before. So, it's only natural for them to be together. That said, there's no official word from Kilmer about whether she's leaving Chicago Fire. The actress hasn't spoken publicly about her future on the show, and the producers haven't mentioned any cast changes either. But there have been some rumors floating around that suggest Kilmer might be saying goodbye to the series, which is why she might be written out of the show. I think they're in a situation where both characters will either stay or leave. Guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. But with Sylvie out of the picture, Matt Casey will be gone too. The storylines of the two characters are so linked to each other that we can't really say what's going to happen to Brett or Casey without it affecting the other. Now the thing is, Sylvie's decision will determine what happens to Matt. Currently, he lives in Oregon, so if they were to get engaged, one of two things will happen. Either Brett will move with Casey to Oregon, or Casey will move back to Chicago. But there's another factor too, see? Casey made a promise to be the guardian of the Darden boys until they finish high school, and I think he will keep that promise. But don't worry, there's also the possibility that neither Casey nor Sylvie are leaving. Fans were super excited to see Matt returning for a few episodes in season 11, and with that cliffhanger of a proposal in the finale, he's definitely got all of us wanting more. So it wouldn't make sense to write them out of Chicago Fire at this point. Remember, actor Jesse Spencer left the show in 2021, and his reason was that he had simply been doing network television for way too long, and he had a family to take care of too. But he has been very open about wanting to be attached to the show on multiple occasions, which led to the guest appearances in season 11. Given the response he got, I think there's a solid case for him to return to the series permanently. Especially with Severide gone, the series needs a fan favorite like Matt Casey to anchor the show. Speaking of Kelly Severide, actor Taylor McKinney has taken a leave of absence from the show. You know, Severide has been such an important part of Chicago Fire for a whopping 11 seasons. He's appeared in over 200 episodes, and fans have really grown to love him. But here's the thing, his temporary break from the show because of personal matters has affected the show quite a lot. In the episode Damage Control, Severide wasn't around, but his on-screen wife, Stella Kidd, explained that he left to attend an arson investigation program. Now, it doesn't seem like a permanent situation at all. He's just off to school, and chances are he'll be back soon. So, definitely not a goodbye, right?
No, I don't think so.
But do you know what really gives us hope about his return? The conversation between Captain Tom Van Meter and Wallace Bowden in the same episode. It strongly suggests that Severide will be back. His decision to attend the program will give him the expertise to help everyone at Firehouse 51. But the thing that has everyone worried is the fact that NBC has been pretty quiet about the whole situation. They haven't said anything about Kinney's return or how they'll develop his character. But we do know that Chicago Fire's a big deal for NBC and Peacock. It's directed by the legendary Dick Wolf, who's known for his procedural dramas. And with no details on what the actual reason is for McKinney leaving the show, we can't say if it's a forever kind of thing. So I'm sure they'll want to keep the show going strong. Now here's another possibility. If Severide does come back for good, maybe the show doesn't need the power couple, Sylvie and Casey, after all. Because let's face the hard truth here. Chicago Fire has put a lot of weight on Taylor Kinney's character, Severide. Without him, they'd have to basically start from scratch and completely revamp the show. But it seems like something is brewing behind the scenes that adds to the uncertainty. You see, Taylor Kinney's exit from Chicago Fire coincided with the departure of the show's co-creator and co-showrunner, Derek Haas. Haas announced at the end of Season 10 that he was leaving to focus on creating new shows. In his statement, he said he was thankful to Dick Wolf, Peter Jankowski, Universal Television, NBC, and CBS for their unwavering support. He was also really excited about building his own brand in the entertainment industry. Now, with the show's creator stepping away, you can't help but wonder if there's trouble in paradise. It's not uncommon for a show to be nearing its end when the creator himself leaves. Chicago Fire has had a remarkable run of 11 seasons and has already been renewed for a 12th one. But NBC hasn't said anything about further renewals, which are usually done for multiple seasons at a time. And Kinney's sudden exit adds to the concern, especially considering that the writers haven't had enough time to properly write his character out of the show. It's definitely a situation that leaves fans and viewers on edge, wondering what the future holds for Chicago Fire. Will it continue beyond the 12th season, or could this be the beginning of the end? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, it'll be difficult to justify Severide's exit. The show will also face significant challenges in reimagining its direction. And let's face it, Severide's a standout character on Chicago Fire. He's got this incredible leadership quality that no one else on the team can match. The other characters really look up to him, and he's the glue that keeps everything together. As the lieutenant of Rescue Squad 3, he takes on some seriously dangerous missions for the Chicago Fire Department. He's cool under pressure and always the first one to jump into those intense situations. Other characters like Joe Cruz and Blake Gallo often look to him for guidance because they trust him so much. Without Severide, the show just wouldn't be the same, and his absence would leave a huge hole in the show's dynamic. In a nutshell, Severide's the heart and soul of Chicago Fire. He's been a fan favorite from the very beginning, and no one can fill his shoes. But the Season 11 finale left us with another tragedy. The possibility of Mouch leaving for good, and not with the happy ending that the other characters seem to be getting. In the finale, the team gets called to an electrical plant that's on fire, which was caused by some heavy-duty ammo. While they're assessing the situation, a sniper opens fire from above, forcing everyone to take cover. Casey, Stella, Gallo, and Carver decide to track down the shooter and put an end to the threat, so they can safely extinguish the fire. After they successfully neutralize the sniper and ensure the safety of the 51 crew, something unexpected happened. Mouch suddenly collapses. Turns out he had been hit by a bullet during the shootout and was immediately taken to the hospital. Bowden informed the crew that doctors were able to remove the bullet and stop the bleeding. Mouch was expected to make a full recovery. Everything was going okay until Herman visited him and noticed a sudden change in his appearance. Mouch was struggling to catch his breath and eventually lost consciousness. The monitor he's connected to started beeping frantically, indicating a critical situation. His previous injury started bleeding again and got worse, but the scene ended before we could find out what happened. I guess we'll have to wait until Season 12 to find out if he'll even survive. Or maybe he'll retire because of the injuries. So there you have it, folks. From Mouch bleeding out on a hospital bed in the Season 11 finale, to the possibility that Brett could be moving to Oregon with Casey. These Chicago Fire characters probably won't be back in Season 12.